Hi again. Hi again. I hope you all are joining. Hi. Here we go. Waiting for Vern. I see you, Vern.
Yeah,
Woo, woo, woo.
we did it. It worked.
We
It
did
worked.
it.
It worked. It worked. It worked. It worked. It worked.
We're here.
All right. Technology. You gotta love it.
Mhm.
You gotta love it. Hi, friends. Thank you for coming back. You guys are the best. Thank you for coming
Hello.
back.
Yay.
You know what's so funny? Now these disconnected.
So I was thinking, I'm like, should I don't know. I don't know. I've been
What?
noticing the weird connections with using these and earbuds, and so I'm like, I don't know.
Gone. Gone. We're back. We're together. All our friends are back. This is awesome.
Yay.
So, you guys, thank you for coming. Vern is a fellow health coach who is the bomb, and she knows so much about Ayurveda and all these very cool things. And I just learned about Ayurveda this year, and I was like, Ayur, what? Like, there's this whole other system of taking care of your body, and I'm all inclusive, right? Like, the more I can learn about how to take care of yourself, that's great. And just to say that different things work for different people. So it's one of my main goals to just share the knowledge, bring in the experts, because this might really help you, or it might not help you, or it might just be a lot of fun, or you might learn something new. I'm here to learn something new. And the very cool thing about Ayurveda, one of the main things I know is that there are different body types, which I always find to be cool because I always, taking quizzes are fun. And then it has so much more to it.
Hmm.
So, Vern, tell us who you are, what you do, share with us.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Well, thank you guys so much for having me and like inviting me onto your space. This is
Yes.
really sweet, and for saying like inviting on an expert in Ayurveda, like that just like lights me up. So I have been learning about Ayurveda. I started practicing Ayurveda to heal my own body. So I had loss of period for 3 years, chronic eczema, digestive issues, like no bowel movement every other day. It was just a mess. So I found this form of healing through yoga. So a lot of people are familiar with yoga, the physical form, right? The
Hmm.
asana. So if asana in Sanskrit. So if you're practicing yoga for the physical form, which is the asana, then you're practicing physical movements. Great. But if you're practicing yoga to connect mind, body, spirit, energy, all of those things, you're actually practicing Ayurveda.
Ah.
Yes, because Ayurveda encompasses all of these things. It's also the oldest form of medical healing. So it originated over 5,000 years ago through the ancient Vedic system in India. So sister science of yoga. They're one and the same. If you fall in love with yoga, you'll eventually understand or at least come to Ayurveda until you hear the term and realize, oh, I've been practicing this.
Yeah.
So it's helped heal me physically. It's helped connect me mentally to my body, my surroundings, like other people around me. It's the most complete form of healing because it is encompassing like holistic view, mind, body, spirit, versus the Western medical system, which has its place and is so necessary,
Hmm.
but it works more on symptoms. So if I break my arm, I'm going to the emergency room. Like I got a symptom, my arm's freaking broken and it hurts. If I have like digestive issues or acne, I'm gonna go to an Ayurvedic doctor because we're gonna work from root cause. It's not gonna be overnight. We're not gonna get the Advil or cortisone shot like a Western doctor would. But instead, we're going to talk about diet. We're going to talk about your day to day. We're going to talk about how you grew up, trauma, everything
Hmm.
that sits in the body energetically and physically in your tissues, in your joints, all in different ways. So long story short, that's how I found Ayurveda, and I've been learning the system, all of Eastern medical systems, also traditional Chinese medicine, which actually took inspiration from Ayurveda, so it came a little later. But very, very similar, all working towards the same things, balancing energies. And so now I work with clients to figure out what their body type is and what their imbalances are, not just from a physical level, mind, body, energy.
Yes.
All of those.
Everything.
Yes. So that's a little what I do, the background. Yeah.
I love that. And I want to pinpoint something you just said. And you guys, for the quiz that we're going to do, we just need a pen and a pencil, or a pen and a paper. And then it'll be super easy from there. So if you need to grab that, go ahead. I'll just talk a little bit more while you get that. But something that Vern said that I really want to highlight is that there are different types of doctors out there. Yes, Western medicine has its place and its time and all of that. However, if you've been feeling sick for quite a while and maybe they're telling you that you're fine, but your gut and your body that knows you best is telling you, maybe something's not okay. There are other experts and doctors, holistic doctors, Ayurvedic doctors, Chinese medicine, all these other expertise that you can explore to try and help yourself, right? Sometimes we all need some guidance, and sometimes we feel so stuck and we know something's up, but we can't put our finger on it. So it's really important to know that there are other people, doctors, healers out there that can definitely help you out, and you don't have to feel so alone or sad,
Right.
or overwhelmed by it. There are people out there that can help you. So
Yes.
I hope everybody has their pen and pencil.
Yay.
Why do I keep saying pen and pencil? Pen and paper. Pencil and paper.
So I love what you just said. Yes, it's all about getting all of the opinions, getting all of the information, ask, check different sources, different types of medical doctors, Ayurvedic, traditional Chinese medicine, everything. What resonates with you? Like you mentioned, gut feeling. Notice that. What feels right? What feels like it's clicking? In Ayurveda, we say that Ayurveda is not learned, it's remembered, which I was just like, oh my gosh, that's
what
exactly
does that
how
mean?
I feel. Because you'll see it's so intuitive in nature, literally in nature. So the main aspect of Ayurveda is the fact that it takes and sees nature lives within us through something called the doshas, which is what we're going to do this quiz on. So it recognizes that nature, the earth, the water, air, space, fire, all of these elements exist inside of us. So if you hear someone say like, ooh, they have a fiery personality, we actually use language that's Ayurvedic. So they have a fiery personality. That would be someone who runs more pitta. So pitta is fire and water. Or wow, like she's such an earthy woman. She's so grounded. That would be very kapha. So that's earth and water. Or, oh, you know, she's just always she's always spaced out. She's got her head in the clouds. She's always thinking. Yes, exactly. So that would be vata, which is air and space. And so this is where we look at the body types. You could have, everyone has all three body types, all three doshas. So when I say doshas, that's when I mean the energies, okay? The different natures that we just mentioned. So that's when I say dosha. We all have all three doshas. They're just different percentages. So if I have a lot of pitta, if I have a lot of fire, I'm predominantly fire and have a tendency to get fiery or angry or intense, versus someone who has more earth in their percentage nature, and their just tendency is to move a little slower, move, you know, more subtle, which is wonderful. Because if you look at a bee, a tiger, and an elephant,
whoa,
would you want a bee to act or eat or live the same way an elephant does? Does that make sense? No. But what a bee does is perfect for their body type, is perfect for their needs and what they need to stay sane, balanced. Same thing with the tiger. So they're perfect in their own nature and their own percentages. We don't want to try to make one the other. Make sense?
That makes sense.
Awesome.
And this helps you once you know that it's not only about earth and fire and water and air, it can also guide the way you eat, right? Or the way you do things to balance yourself if you feel kind of like off, right?
Exactly. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to look at these. We're going to find your true nature, your essence, and then we'll see the tendencies to get imbalanced. So what Vata tends to see in terms of imbalance, and then how to balance back. What a Kapha tends to see when they're imbalanced, and then how to come back to balance. So we'll do that after the quiz, okay?
All right, quiz time.
Quiz time.
Remember, paper and pen. Yeah, I didn't mess it up this time. I'm gonna grab mine because I'm gonna do it again. I did it before. I'm gonna do it again.
Lovely. So I'm going to actually, let's see if this works. I'm going to try to show my screen. You could always listen to my voice, but I'm going to show the quiz. Also, you will see a lot of quizzes out there, and they're all great, and they're all different to practitioner. And again, it's kind of what resonates with you. But generally speaking, they're all like telling the same thing. Again, percentages. You could have multiple doshas. That's normal. So here we go.
Ah, yes.
Can you
We could
see
it.
me?
Yeah.
Lovely. All right. So know thy body type. So you have on your paper, what you're going to do is write like number 1, 2, 3, as we go. If you have, if you see yourself being more than one, then you can put A and B down, or B and C or whatever. Just lean towards what you are most often, predominantly, and right now. So we're focusing on your dosha right now versus your lifelong, your normal baseline, which would be a different type of quiz, Prakriti, okay? So you are right now, majority of the time. If you need to write down 2, that's fine. So number 1. All right, so body frame. A, thin, lanky, slim with thin muscles. Medium, symmetrical with good muscle development. C, stocky, round, broad, or large. So this is your body frame.
Okay.
Great.
That's number 1.
Number 1. Number 2, your weight. So this is your tendency to gain or lose weight. A would be lose weight easily. B would be constant weight gain, or consistent, oh my goodness, consistent weight. So you're usually, you stay the same, it's relatively the same. And then C is gained weight easily, okay?
Okay.
Lose weight easily, consistent weight, or gain weight easily, A, B, C. All right. Number 3.
3.
Chest. Can you see? I'm not sure if you can see. Okay, that's good. Chest. So sunken ribs showing. Medium chest, medium, or broad chest. A, sunken ribs are showing. B, medium chest. C, broad, large chest.
Okay.
Number 4, hips. Slender, thin hips is A. B, medium hips. C, wide, heavy hips. And again, this is all relative, right? Like it's what is coming to mind, your first thought. Yes. Number 5, schedule. So irregular schedule / eating times. So it's sporadic. B, long work days. C, good at keeping a routine. A, irregular. B, long work day. C, good at keeping a routine.
These are hard.
First thought, don't think too hard.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. Sleep. Okay. Sleep. Number 6. You're a light sleeper is A. B, you sleep well, average length. C, deep sleep, long trouble waking up. So sleep, 6. Light sleepers, A. B, sleep well, average length. C, deep sleep and long, hard to wake up. C. All right, 7, appetite. A would be irregular small appetite. So you're like snacking all day because you're like, I'm not that hungry, I'm just what I'm gonna eat. B, strong hunger, hangry, like give me the food now. C, steady moderate appetite. Like, okay, it's time to eat, I could eat. That's number 7, appetite. Thirst, number 8. Irregular thirst, like, there's no pattern. B, strong, frequently thirsty. C, rarely thirsty, like, oh my gosh, someone just talked about water, I guess I should drink. Okay, that's number 8. 9, digestion. This is my favorite.
Fun.
A is gassy, irregular digestion. Like sometimes I'm constipated, sometimes I got diarrhea, sometimes I don't go, like but sometimes it's great. B, steady, strong digestion, even maybe tendency to get more of like a loose stool because it's just, strong. B, slow, heavy digestion, like maybe it's just takes longer. You feel slower until it all comes out. This is my favorite. Digestion is what I work with mostly with clients because this is the root of all of our issues. And root of our issues and our wins, our vitality, which is great. Skin. This is number 10. Thin skin, like, oh my gosh, I just got a scratch and I literally didn't move from this chair. B, warm, rosy skin. Warm, sometimes, tendency to get burnt, maybe tendency to get acne. C, thick, cool skin. So nice, like dewy, thick skin. Number 10. Nye, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Yes. Hair, 11. A would be dry, dark, frizzy hair. Brittle. B, fine, straight, light, reddish, maybe tendency to get like grays easy or early in life. C, thick, wavy hair. That's 11. Eyes. A, sunken, small, active, dark eyes. Sunken, small, active, dark eyes. B, sharp, gray, green, light brown eyes. So when people say like piercing, she's got such a piercing gaze, she's staring into my soul. C, large, calm, loving eyes. Like, oh my gosh, this person just looking at me makes me want to smile. Hey. First thought, guys. Don't think too much about it. Lips. A would be thin lips. B would be bright red lips. Maybe your face and your palms tend to be red also. So there's a lot of color. C would be large, smooth lips. Nice and plump, soft lips. 11. Oh, sorry, what? 14.
14.
Speech. A, talks quickly. B, sharp language, like, someone just kind of speaks, there's not a lot of filter, but we got to talk about this. Very important information at hand. C, Slow, monotonous speech. So calculated, definitely some thought behind it. Speech, 14. 15, emotions. Emotions, 15. A would be anxiety, fear, uncertainty. So thinking a lot. Just there's so many thoughts happening. We're thinking about the future. We're thinking about everything except for what's going on right now. B, tendency to be angry, irritable, but also ambitious and analytical. Really thinking hard about things because there's a lot at stake. Tendency to get angry because there's a lot at stake. C, calm, maybe greedy at times, stagnant. This person would also be, when I say calm, calm is like, let me sit with you and try to understand this with you. So this person would be slow, can be slow, but also like that slowness is like, wait, when it can be a little greedy with like money and holding it. Okay, does that make sense?
Yep.
Mood. A, mood changes quickly. Super stoked, this is great, and then, oh my God, the world's gonna end. But actually, no, it's a pretty good day. The sun's out, so things are gonna be fine. That's A. Oops, well, my bad. Let's go back. Intense emotions would be B. Intense emotions, just very sharp. When I'm really happy, I'm really happy. Everyone's going to be happy with me, or just angry. And no one can change that. C, steady emotions, you know, things are pretty chill. Things are fine here and there. All right. Personality. A would be creative and imaginative. There's just so much to do. B, intelligent, efficient, perfectionist. C, caring, calm, patient. 17, personality. And again, you know, this is broad. This is broad. There's a lot more to you than these three, A, B, and C. Conflicts makes me feel restless. A, gotta get up and go. I'm not trying to deal with this. B, conflicts make me angry and irritable. How is this actually happening? I didn't do anything wrong. Conflicts make me depressed, lazy. This is really sad. Why? I'm just gonna sit here because the other person can just figure it out. I'm not gonna fight back. Okay, conflicts make me 18. 19, wealth. Frivolously spends would be A. So I don't have a lot of money, but I'm really stoked to spend, you know, on a coffee every day because it makes me happy. Frivolous spending. B, medium wealth, but I'll spend on luxuries like a trip, save, and then trip. Medium wealth. C, abundant and hold on to money. So, or I'm abundant because I hold on to money. Wealth, 19. Social. A, makes and changes friends often. Make and change friends often would be A. B, friends are work related. Changes with job, which is fine. You know, job is super important, so whoever's there. C, friendships are long lasting, sincere. Ride or dies, baby. Forever's. Social. C. Oh, social. 20. Okay, 21, stamina. Short bursts of energy would be A. Quick race, and that's it. B, medium stamina. Just chill, you know. C, steady, high stamina. So this is the like long distance runner, but very slow and steady wins the race. This is like, let's do high, like workout real quick. This is like just regular, we can work out and then stretch. This is like, okay, we're gonna do a dance class for an hour and a half. Climate. A would be avoid cold. Don't like the cold. A. B, avoid heat. Doesn't like the heat. C, avoids humidity. Again, like, what's the first thing? The thing that you really just can't stand. Would rather do the other. A, avoid cold. B, heat. Avoid humidity. C. Okay, 23, activity. Hyperactive, quick would be A. Like, oh, I'm excited now, let's go. Activity B would be moderate pace, goal oriented. Like, I'm supposed to be here, so we're gonna work around the activity so that it helps us get there. Very logical. C would be slow, steady activity. Again, like, let's walk for an hour and a half. Speed walk maybe for like 10 minutes, that's it. Slow and steady. All right, that's 23. So any questions before we...
Oh, this is it?
That's
we
it.
can find out?
That's it.
Okay. Exciting.
Exciting?
Yeah.
Okay, so everyone take a look at your list. You have 23, count up, A's, B's, and C's.
So what do you do if you have two in one line? Do you count both?
Count both.
You count
so
both.
Three columns. So do an A, calculate how many A's you have, calculate how many B's you have, and then calculate how many C's you have. Mm-hmm.
All right.
This is like the music break.
I know. I should have come with some like elevator music.
Like, do I have elevator music? Because I always have music. Let's see.
I don't have music at all. No way.
You know, I love vibes.
Yeah.
Calculate.
I love it. Thanks. All right. Tallying this up.
Remember, this is, you could have, the idea is like if you have something very dramatic that's standing out, then we'll work on that and try to get them balanced. It's also normal to have higher and lower, like that's the human experience. So don't be too hard on yourself if it doesn't look balanced. Again, it's a human experience. The point of Ayurveda is to enjoy the process of coming back to balance, to enjoy what it feels like to make changes and just tuning in. And hopefully this quiz just also brought light to your physical body.
All right, are you guys done tallying? Give us a thumbs up, a wave, something.
Something.
Now we'll get into it. I had to count mine twice. I wanted to make sure.
Yeah. And these can also change. These are so what I mentioned before, the prakriti is like your DNA. So your true essence nature, like childhood, majority of the time. And then your vikriti is the imbalanced dosha, or the what makes us stray away from our true nature, which is balanced. So the dosha would mean if you have a high dosha in one area, then that's your vikriti. So we want to just come back to balance, and it's okay to have a little higher than others as long as you feel good, right?
Yes.
Okay. Shall we?
Awesome. I think we're ready. Yes.
Okay. Great. All right. So if you have a lot of A's. Do you want to tell us yours? Yes.
Which one I have the most of?
Yes.
I have the most of B's. Then it's C. So should I tell you how many? The number?
Oh, if you want, yeah.
Okay, fine. I don't mind. I have 19 B's,
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
13 C's, and 2 A's. Very low on the 2.
Wow, amazing. Okay, love it, love it, love it. So then let's start with the B's.
Yes.
The B's, if you're a B, you are predominantly Pitta.
No way! That changed from last time. Okay.
Yes, predominantly Pitta, which is fire and water. So,
Water I get, yeah.
yes? Okay, amazing. Pittas are they're often the CEOs. They're often business leaders. They're often they're the kids at the playground. They're like, this is what we're doing. We're playing this game. It's going to be so much fun. And that's how it's going to go. Okay. So Pitta dosha. This is just a couple of like recommendations in terms of food. If you have a tendency to be high Pitta, then we want to look at foods like cooked asparagus, soaked rice, and having like obviously soak your rice overnight and then cook it in the morning. You're okay with bread because you have a strong digestive system. Pitta is the ruler of fire, and being the ruler of fire means you have a strong digestive system. Nothing is transformed in our bodies or in nature without heat, without fire. So that's why bread is okay for high pittas, oftentimes. Oatmeal's good. What do we have? Avocados are good. You're okay with breaking down cauliflower, melons, only eating melons by itself. Okay. And then some of the things to avoid if you have high pitta, aggravated pitta would be yogurts, like so sour things, too much fermented things like cheese, sour creams, grapefruits, because of the sourness. I get milk, olives, again, fermented. So, and pepper, hot things too. So one thing that's interesting about, I know. So one thing to remember, huge about the doshas would be the fact that like attracts like. So that's the law, the way the universe works, right? So when like attracts like, that means we want more of what we're elevated in. So if you have high pitta, high fire, you want more fire. You want more pepper. You want more heat. You want, I'm good at what I do in my work, and I'm a CEO, so work. That's why.
More bagels.
Yes, more bagels. So you want more of that fire. So that's something to remember, and that's what causes imbalance, is when we overindulge. Too much of anything is not a good thing, right? We hear this all the time. So so a pitta would be like slightly oily in terms of body type. Have piercing eyes because, again, that like motivation, that fire. They're warmer. They'll tend to run warmer. A pitta person, you are under the covers with them or like sharing they're just like, Jesus, like, why are you so hot? It's just like really funny. They have more pungent body odor, actually. So it's probably because they can eat so many like more hard to digest foods, so their body odor is actually more pungent. Let's see what else. Okay, so that's like the body type, what they're like, and they tend to have like their hair have more color, if anything, so like or lighter. They can sweat easily. Is this resonating with you at all?
All the food stuff does.
The food stuff, right?
And the being warm.
Yes, so you're running
aspects of it. Yes.
And the fact that you're running your own business. That's a very pitta thing to do. Very pitta thing to do.
At first I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, amazing. So with a pitta, the typical physical problems or imbalances that we see would be things that like inflamed skin, acne or ulcers sometimes, or overactive digestion. So that would be like the diarrhea, anemia. They can have burning eyes. And then again, intense emotions. So hard to, if they're angry, it's like, I'm freaking angry. I'm pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Why it's hard to cool down. A hothead. That's again, we use those terms. So if you have a tendency to be overactive in pitta, eczema for me, I'm a pitta in nature, like high pitta. So that's where my eczema came from. My imbalances stemmed through eczema. So that's heat trying to leave the body, it's aggravating the blood, and it's trying to leave my body instead of going out the digestive system where it's supposed to.
Yeah.
So eczema and rashes is a pitta imbalance. So if you are seeing something like this, or acid reflux, things like that, heat, then what you want to do is have more things like soaked beans. So cooked foods that are like that's soaked beans and rice. So things that are heavier, so it can slow things down.
Mm-hmm.
You're also going to want to have a lot of veggies, of course. It all comes back to food. So you can avoid sugary fruits, too sugary and acidic. So like too much sour fruits. Like I was eating so many blueberries because I'm like, blueberries are great for you and they're so good for you. But it's overacting, aggravating the pitta.
The same thing happened to me with strawberries. I was like, these are so delicious. And then I was like, oh, that hurts. Yeah.
It depends. And so it would be medicine though, for someone else.
Right.
And red meats. If you have an aggravated pitta, you want to stay away from too many meats, because meats will have hormones, like whether it can be hormone free, whatever, but it is going to aggravate in terms of emotional, and it creates heat. So especially like poultry, eggs, if you look at a chicken, they're
oh my God, that makes so much sense.
They're frantic. So we want to avoid that. And same thing with red meats, because red meats are hot in nature. They create heat. So those are things you want to avoid. You want to also, you could do things like cooling breath. I think we've done this before. So similar, like breathing like this. You can breathe out through the nose or the mouth again. You can do it with me. That's very cooling.
Oh yeah, it is.
Very cooling. So breathing like that, like 16 times, or like, that's a lot. It doesn't seem like a lot once you're doing it, because it feels so good. And you want to kind of lessen the high intensity workouts. Pittas love high intensity if you're aggravated, but if there's no imbalance, then that means you're doing the right grounding things with your food and your lifestyle. So
I've actually experienced all those things. Like when I overdid it, my body's like, you need to calm down. And I've had to take breaks, because that's what I enjoy doing, like HIIT workouts, intense, and then my body reminds me, like, you're going too far. You need to relax. Yeah.
Amazing. So it's okay to have high pitta. That's wonderful. And when you notice people are telling you, like, why are you snapping at me? Or why are you so angry all the time?
I'm going to go high.
So like, then maybe just look at, well, what were my patterns this past week? Was I doing so much work? Was I aggravating my pitta? Was I eating too much spicy foods? Was I doing too much spicy foods, high workouts, and working too much? Those are all pitta activities. So we start to look at that. Any questions on pitta?
This has been so enlightening. I'm like, oh my God, it's true. Like, you can do it, and if you take it too far, then your body checks you.
Right.
And I'm going to keep that in mind. Like, when you do start to feel imbalanced, like, how many things have you been doing that it's pushing you over the edge? and then bringing it back down.
Yeah.
Love that. Any pizzas, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments or the question box, and I guess we can keep going
Of course.
for the next ones. I love this.
Yay.
Which one are we going to do next? C or A?
We're going to do C because you said you were C.
13 C's.
13 C's. So this is, you're predominantly kapha. If you had mostly C's, you're predominantly kapha.
C people.
C peeps. These, kaphas, I love kaphas. So I really do. So kaphas have first of all, the best skin. They have the most, usually the softest skin, the dewiest, versus like a pizza, which has a tendency to get like aggravated. Kapha has the strong hair. So their hair is like usually really thick, dark, lush. They have very welcoming and loving round eyes, because this dosha holds space so well. So they're so loving and nurturing. A kapha person has a larger body type, so they are because they're holding space for people. They're grounded. This is the earth and water. So they're very stable and grounded in nature. If you see someone like Oprah is a kapha.
Oh, yes.
Oprah would be a kapha for sure. So she holds space. She's also, the imbalances will be tendency to have weight gain. So it's very easy to gain weight as a kapha. And a lot of times it's in the hips because you're holding a lot of weight for people, and it's a very motherly dosha. So in India, everyone says every person wants a kapha to marry because they make the best wives, because they hold space, they're loving, and they're patient, which is like, a little misogynistic, but kapha is also, but here in the Western world, we tend to shame the larger body type when it's just a beautiful,
So
every
beautiful.
body type is beautiful, absolutely. But we have become very imbalanced, and we'll talk about that later when we get into the last dosha. But so some tips for kapha. If you are over kapha, so if you have a tendency towards a weight gain, obesity, diabetes, so these would be kapha imbalances, moving sluggishly or depression. You want to get more into things like spinach, so greens, of course, vegetable, lettuce. These are very light, so it's opposite in nature from the kapha. So very light foods, soups, because they're very easy to digest. Because the kapha moves slower, we want something that's easy to digest. Seasonings, spices, heat up the digestive system, heat up, because we want more movement. Kapha is slower in nature. And then, so things to stay away from would be bacon. So like fats, lots of fats, meats like sausages. So these are just fatty foods, milkshakes. So dairy, kapha is mucousy, controls mucus too in the body. So, produces mucus, excuse me. So we want to stay away from like milkshakes, things that will create more and become excess. Burgers, so like obviously anything that's creates a lot of fat and stagnation. And dairy we mentioned. So this is the kapha person.
Fun.
Okay. I think I kind of went through what kapha is like. More oily, they'll tend to be cold, characteristics of soft skin, deep sound sleep. They won't really remember their dreams, but they're so joyful and calm and grounded. But they'll have the tendency towards depression because they're not telling people what they need. They love holding space for other people. So their needs sometimes don't get met, and that's where the imbalance can come through. Let's see, they could have tendency towards like hay fever, allergies, respiratory issues, colds and congestion. Again, that's the mucus. And yeah, so balancing a kapha. We mentioned some of the foods, fruits. Avoid bananas as kapha unless you're very balanced and you are working out in the mornings. Kaphas should work out in the mornings. Move right after you have your warm water with lemon.
Yes.
Move, do something. If it's high intensity, join a group. So, because kaphas love being with groups, so join a community of people working out, or a dancing high intensity stuff. Like, just get moving. Beyonce, she is a balanced kapha. Like, oh my gosh. I mean, yes. So she's balanced because she moves a lot and she's also grounded. Yes.
Yeah. Just wanted to say if any kaphas out there need some Zoom movement groups, let me know. They're live. I can give you some tips on that so you can get moving in your home.
Love. That's it. So important because it's like, well, we can do it tomorrow. They're easy going versus a pizza. A pizza's like, we have to do it today.
I'm like, I'm gonna give you some tips right now.
Right. So there's one is not superior to the other. They just need each other. We want to balance each other. Like attracts like. So sitting, want more sitting, but we really need the movement. Once you start to move, you feel freaking amazing.
You love it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's hard to get up and do it. I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
All right. A's.
All right. The A's. So this is our last dosha. This is our Vatas.
Vatas.
You are predominantly air and space if you got mostly A's. So Vata, our society has been glorifying Vatas for a very long time. So the very thin, tall, like lanky supermodel, just very, you can see bones, right? Their bones tend to get very cracked. They have very thin skin. Who would be a Vata? Like Miley Cyrus is a Vata. Who else? Like Will Smith.
Victoria's Secret models.
Right, exactly. So that's air and space. Vata is also the most air and space is the most powerful element, because if you notice, kapha and pitta both have water, and neither of them have air or space. And air and space, they go everywhere and they don't need to be ignited by anything, versus like fire moves slowly. Air is in there right away. So we can become an imbalanced vata very quickly. We can be a kapha and get an imbalanced vata very quickly. It's just so powerful. And so some tendencies for vatas, this again, very thin, lanky, airy fairy. So someone whose head's in the clouds, they get tendency to anxiety, things like that. So if you find you're imbalanced in vata, you want to have things like cherries. Cherries, one thing about them, make sure to have them seasonally, and they are part of the dirty dozen, so they tend to have a lot of pesticides. So make sure they're organic. Pineapple, also really good for vatas, but with fruits and in general, you don't want to eat too much of it. So because it can cause bloating. Bananas are good for vatas because they create a little more density. Peaches, grapes, rice. Really, rice and grains is for vatas. Vatas are rice and grains. The pictures, honestly, like if I were telling a vata how to balance, I actually wouldn't talk about the fruits as much. So this picture tells a lot of fruits. I would talk more about the rice. Have rice, porridges, grains. Vatas already want to eat nuts all day. They want to eat nuts and fruits, and that is going to create bloating and gas, and they creates fermentation in the gut. So you want rice, you want warm foods, cooked foods, root vegetables. Yeah, and so to avoid beans because they can create air. So you will, if you have beans as a vata, you want to add ghee, add a lot of ghee, and fats. You want to add
Mm.
fats so that your body can absorb the beans better. Soak the beans and then add some good yummy fats. Cottage cheese, beef is just not recommended, again, because it can create a lot of anxiety, which vata tends to get anxiety very quickly. Yogurts, pork, again with the anxiety, and coffee. Oh my goodness, coffee for vatas. Coffee we actually don't recommend for any dosha except for kapha, because coffee is a stimulant and pittas want coffee. Pittas love coffee, which is fine, but we want to have water too, lots of water.
Yes.
So with vatas, coffee and vatas, again, like attracts like, it will just create more anxiety. And that's hard to hear for people. If you need to have your coffee, I get it. Add some ashwagandha tincture in it. Add some, drink water before and after. That's great. So for vatas, if you have a tendency to feel anxious, that even if you're a kapha, or a pitta, and you feel anxious, that is your vata. It's because a lot of vata tendencies have arisen, or you've been performing a lot of vata things, which is what our society wants us to do. Be creative, be thin, drink smoothies. These are all vata things. Be a runner, like all of that. These are all vata aggravating things to do in excess. So what else? I'm blabbering a lot, so I hope there's some, like, there's so much.
No, I think we have some questions.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So one is, how do I know if I'm a kapha? I feel like that may be my dosha based on your description. So we actually took a whole quiz, and if you want to figure out exactly which one you are, Vern, do you mind sending me the link, or we can send it to them so they can take the whole quiz, and that way it'll let you know which one you are. But yeah, we took a whole quiz, and that's how we figured out which one we were. And if there's a description that resonated with you, that's awesome, and it most likely will be. So we're so glad, and I'm gonna post this video as well, which will have the whole quiz there, but you'll have the resource afterwards. So I'll get that to you for sure.
Yes. If you feel like you're a kapha, beautiful. If you feel like if you have a kapha imbalance would be feeling really sluggish, getting really, tendency to getting depressed, or weight gain in the hips, especially weight gain around the thighs. That would be the kapha imbalance. So feeling like they just really don't want to move. If those things are happening, there are a lot of ways. What you want to do is bring in movement, especially in the mornings. A good kapha, I didn't mention this. A good kapha breathing exercise would be like turning your head to the left and breathing in, and then exhaling out your mouth to the right. Breathing in through the left, exhaling to the right. So this is stimulating the yin and yang of the body, so that we can get some more activity. It's creating more energy. So that would be a good one for kapha. And just the best thing for kapha is to create movement and cut the dairy, which we love as kaphas.
Cool.
Are there any other questions?
Yes, we have another question. It says, I'm split down the middle for kapha pitta and 0 for vata. Is this considered an imbalance? That's a very good question.
Great question. So this would be considered yes and no. Yes, because we're looking for more. Obviously, we want to see all three in some capacity, and I would say it's an imbalance if you feel aggravated or sick
Mhm.
if you feel ill in some way, if your health isn't optimal, then there's an imbalance. And when I say health, I mean mind, body, spirit. Like if you wake up, if you're not happy and excited or even sad, you can be sad, but being like, oh wait, I'm happy that I was able to cry. So having all of these emotions, but not like shaming or having, you know, intense feelings towards something that's detrimental to you. So if you feel like there's a health issue, then we would say there's an imbalance, and we want to find, we're going to start to try to balance the doshas. But if you feel like you feel great, look at, this will going, this is going far. But if you look at like your tongue, and your tongue looks healthy, and this could be a whole nother conversation. But if your bowel movements are great, this resonates. I hope if you are going 2 to 3 times a day, and they are great, and we can also have a whole nother conversation about bowel movements.
Mhm.
But then healthy stool, you're healthy. Like that's lovely. Yeah, so we would talk about imbalances, mind, body, energy, and try to bring the doshas back.
Love that.
Yeah.
Thank you for explaining that, because I feel like we go into fears like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me?
Right. I think that's a big thing with I'm not sure what dosha I am. Like, I'm not sure if I want to be tridoshic. So we get really stuck
Mm-hmm.
to results, which is maybe your pitta coming through. But if that is the case, we want to come away from, like, this is nice, great to know, and we use it as a guideline. At the end of the day, what's super important is to notice how you're feeling, mind, body, energy, spirit, and then speaking to someone who, if this does interest you, speak to an Ayurvedic practitioner, speak to an Ayurvedic coach, and they will create a plan that works for you. It's not like methodical, it's depending on who you work with, but it's to get to the root cause of something that doesn't feel right to you, rather than, you know, latching onto a dosha.
Vern, we have another question. What is considered balanced?
Ooh, so the term is tridoshic. So if you're tridoshic, then you will see a person who, it's kind of hard to tell what their constitution is, if we're talking physically. So for me, there was a time where I with my eczema, like my face, you could really see I have like pretty sharp features. So this is it's my pitta. You can see my cheekbones, but if I was really balanced, then my eyes would be more gentle, like a kapha maybe, or the lips look a little bigger versus like thin lips, like and colored lips like a pitta. So if the person, it's kind of hard to tell what they are, and they look healthy. A healthy looking person, they're glowing, they're ojas, your ojas is your life force. So you're like, kind of when you see someone who has like a glow, like she's just glowing, the person looks very healthy, is happy, doesn't look like malnourished. Someone looks malnourished, then that's a vata imbalance. And it's just hard to tell what their dosha is, because if it's very obvious if you're seeing tall, thin, light, someone who's anxious, like they're obviously a vata. There's some vata imbalances. Someone who's like very muscular, working, intense emotions, like they're obviously a pitta. A kapha, someone like who's slower, wants to be a homebody, like, and they have very round features, gentle eyes. It's a very obvious kapha. But someone who you can't really tell, and they're laughing a lot, and they're joyful, and but they know how to work hard. So that's what we're looking for, is someone who's very healthy, and we don't really care about the doshas anymore. Yeah.
We go past them. This has been so great. So I think the main point that I've taken away is if you are feeling off or not balanced, then you're doing something too much for your dosha. Is that like, am I making any sense? You're doing
Yeah,
too much good
right.
stuff for your dosha and you kind of need to level that out a little bit. Is that how it works?
Right. So I like where you're going. Absolutely. So if you like notice where you feel imbalanced. What's your true nature? So like if I'm sit and I'm like, okay, what do I love doing? I love running and playing and creating things, and I haven't been able to do any of that, or I'm not allowing for myself to do that. I've
Mm,
been angry. So notice where you're feeling imbalanced. Again, mind, body, soul. And then notice what have my tendencies been to this past month. You could be doing things or eating foods that are aggravating to one of the doshas, and it'll make sense. It'll make sense. So again, looking even at the nature of foods, like if I'm have a vata imbalance, I'm very anxious and I can't be present. And I've only been eating nuts or drinking smoothies.
mm,
Then to root down from the air and space, I'm going to have
yeah.
literally root vegetables. I'm going to breathe heavy and deep. So a good vata breath would be inhaling, holding it for like 6 counts, and then slowly exhaling as long as you can, doing that I think a couple times.
Awesome.
So yeah, you're exactly right. Notice where your imbalances are, and then what have been feeding those tendencies. And once you can pinpoint something, you just do one thing. Um, that's going to be different, and you might not want to. like,
That's the hard part, right? But you know, it'll
right,
make you feel better.
right. So try it though. Just try it, and if you're not liking the results right now, this is what I tell all of my clients is, if you're not in love, if this isn't exactly where you want to be,
Mm,
mind, body, spirit, in your life, in your environment, if this is not what you want, then we have to make a change. We have to do something different than we have been doing so we
yes.
get different results. We
Yes.
might not want to because we're creatures of habit. We
Hmm.
like habit, casa. We love habit. So it's hard, but if we really truly want different results, we'll do something different. And
That
you
is
can be
true.
supported.
Yeah, yeah, of course. And the main thing is, especially now, we're still in quarantine-ish modes wherever we are. Um, it's important to pay attention and to see why, because I feel like that's always the first and main thing when we notice something's off, because sometimes it's really hard to tell and we're just like angry or upset or we don't feel well, but we don't pay attention to it. But once you pick up on that, then it's like, okay, you can do something about it, even if you don't want to, but you have that option to do something about it, right?
Right. How empowering having an option and then choosing an option
Yes.
that's
Yes.
different to get a different result. What a powerful thing.
Whew.
Yeah.
All right, Vern. I don't know when IG will kick us off, but if you, I'm always scared. I'm like, oh
Me
my
too.
gosh, when are
I
we
know.
gonna get booted? I don't know if they changed the rules, but anyway, where can we find you? Where can you
Yes.
support people?
Yes. Oh, thank you for asking. So you can always go check out my website, vernsbalancingpage.com, to reach out to me. You can always DM me, reach out on my Instagram, Vern's Balancing Page. So I'm always doing like free consultations, discovery calls, which is helpful to discuss your dosha, just discuss what your imbalances are, and where you want to be in 3 months, 6 months, wherever. And we talk about that. So it's really powerful even just to have a conversation of someone who's holding you to that person you want to be.
Mhm.
So you can reach out to me. We can work something out. I'm also, Wednesday is the 11th. I'm doing a workshop on your body type. So it's like the way,
Fun.
yes, it's gonna be fun. So the idea is how to lose weight without ever going on a diet, which you know all about. Yes. So yes, yes. And it's all based on the doshas. So lifestyle and eating habits for your dosha.
Lovely. How
Yeah,
well-rounded this whole thing is.
it's just so well-rounded. So that's Wednesday. You can reach out to me. It's pay what you can. Because the idea, I really just want people to understand that they have the power to do whatever they want with their body. It's just, again, it's the choice. So it's pay what you can, pay what you'd like. My intention is for people to have a different perspective on and appreciation for their true nature, which is beautiful, and just how can you not be perfect if you are the only one? There's only one you. So let's just do the things for you. And that's what we're gonna take away from it. So if you're interested, reach out and
Yes, reach out.
Yeah.
And for anyone who joined midway and would like to take the quiz, send me a DM and I can send you, Vern and I can collab and send you the link for that so you can take the quiz and find out. Or you can rewatch the live. I'll put it up as well, and that would be fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. Should we keep chatting until we get booted? I don't even know what's going on now.
I know, right? This is great. I mean, here we are. If there's any other questions,
You guys have questions? We're here for another few minutes, hopefully.
yeah.
We can help out.
Yes. I'll say this glorified nature of one or the other is damaging. It's very damaging because that's again, it comes back to your healthiest will look very different from another
Yes.
person's healthy.
Yes.
So it's we support each other in their journey and their way to health. And when there's this obsession of being tridoshic, then we leave the present. We leave what's going on now. So, and we're human beings. So we wanna be where we are and in the moment. So this journey to being healthy is something to be enjoyed, savored, just like the yummy, yummy, yummy foods. So, yes.
Thank you, Vern. I think that's a great conclusion.
Yay. It's been so much fun.
Yes.
Thank you for having me. Oh my goodness. So
Thank
fun.
you for joining. Thank you for teaching us. I definitely learned a lot, and it just brings a different perspective to health and wellness and just connecting with ourselves and finding solutions, right?
Yeah.
Not even solutions, I guess, a way of life, right? Because it's always a journey.
Mm-hmm.
Always a journey. And just to reiterate, your body type doesn't determine whether you're healthy or not. This is something my clients and I speak to about all the time as well. So just remember that. Do what is good for you, what is best for you.
Yes. Beautiful. You're
Thank you
wonderful.
so much, Vern.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody, for coming and taking the quiz with us. That was so much fun.
So fun. Oh, so good. I'm glad you loved it.
Yes,
See
thank
soon.
you. Bye.